Hello everybody, and welcome back to the Kingdom Hearts HD Dream Drop Distance playthrough. So, we've kind of had Mickey be kidnapped and all sorts of stuff has occurred. But we're heading straight on to Mont Saint-Michel, which is really cool actually, because obviously Le Mont Saint-Michel is an actual place in France. So it's basically it's a small island and mainland commune in Normandy, France. Just about 1 kilometre or 0.6 miles off the northwest coast of France. And it's one of those sort of really iconic places because I believe. No, I was about to say it's one of those places that when the tide comes in, it completely covers the route to the island. But I think that they have sort of shifted that up a little bit, so that it is a lot easier to cross the causeway to the island. Rather than actually sort of having to go via the slightly more dangerous routes. I'm thinking about the one in the UK that's like that. And I think I was about to say it's Tintagel, and it's not Tintagel. Oh my god, that's really bad. I can't remember the name of the bloody castle. You'd think I'd be able to, considering I actually went there when I was young. It's in Cornwall. There's an island castle fort thing that's very much like that. But Mont Saint-Michel is quite famous. And I am really glad that actually they do feature it in this game. You don't actually get to experience, you know, the island castle nature of it. You just get to experience sort of dark dungeon depressing nature of it. But that does sort of tie into how it appears in the film, so it makes so much sense. But that's absolutely fine. I will say, right now, I am complete. Oh, how obvious. It's St. Michael's Mount. That's the name of the bloody thing. Ugh. My brain was thinking, no, it can't be St. Michael's Mount, because obviously Mont Saint-Michel are basically the same thing, but no, they're named after the same thing. Oh my days. I will tell you why my brain's a little bit wappy today. I mean, as if it's not already most of the time when I'm doing these commentaries these days. But the main reason why, particularly today, it's a bit wappier than usual is because I'm still legit shooketh from the Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer that was released this very day of me recording commentary. Which is a lot later than I do like to be whenever I'm doing my commentaries. I do like to be a little bit more ahead, but I'm not, but there we go. And yes, they released the final battle trailer, as they have called it, of Kingdom Hearts 3, revealing all sorts of wonderful, potentially heartbreaking moments that are going to occur in the game. And my brain is just sort of overloaded and slightly terrified at what to expect now from Kingdom Hearts 3. Like, I was already expecting that I was probably going to be in tears by the end of the game, in part because, you know, that whole I've followed the game franchise since it began, and that's a long time to be following a game franchise. I mean, obviously it came out in 2002. I don't think that I first played it until about 2004, I want to say. So, I've been playing Kingdom Hearts for at least kind of 13, 14 years at this point. So, the conclusion of that kind of series is a big thing anyway, so I'm always going to cry, probably at the end anyway, and also the feelings that like Don't Think Twice conjures up just makes me just But yeah, just everything I saw in that trailer, I was just like, yeah, I am going to be an emotional mess by the end of this, and I'm going to love absolutely every single second. I must have some sort of slightly sadomasochistic tendency towards myself whenever it comes to narratives, because I seem to really like it when there's a game out there that decides, yes, I'm going to make this guy into a quivering wreck, that's my plan, and that's what I'm going to do, and then it achieves it. So yes, I'm fully expecting to be a blithering wreck when I get to that point. It's going to be very interesting actually for me, because my plan is that I'm going to record the footage for Kingdom Hearts 3 as I'm playing it. I know, blind Kingdom Hearts playthrough from me, a little bit dangerous, I know, I'm aware. I already spend enough time running about like a lunatic as it is, but the key idea is that I'm gonna, you know, you're gonna be getting that authentic gameplay. But also, because it's my first time, it then means that I get to tackle it from a brand new perspective. Because obviously all of the other KH games that I've covered, I have already played. And so it's always a case of looking back on them and thinking about how my opinion on them has changed. And I think it's actually going to be quite interesting to look at Kingdom Hearts 3 from a now perspective, which, yeah, I'm really quite excited for. So, I mean, expect more of sort of my blitheringness, because I'm probably not going to have quite as many sort of on-the-ball facts as my previous playthroughs, but then again, you're listening to this one, it's blooming absolutely off-the-wall nuts. But yeah, when I first watched the trailer, I was just like, oh my god, like I watched it at my lunch break, and I was just like, oh my god, that was a thing. The only way that I can actually describe it is just being legit shook. I try not to use contemporary slang quite so much in my regular kind of speech, because a lot of the time, like, well, obviously, whenever anything that is more contemporary slang comes out of my mouth, it sounds really ridiculously uncool and just completely moronic. Other people's voices, they can get away with it. I, however, with my slightly posh English accent, no, it doesn't work, it sounds ridiculous. So I try to avoid it wherever possible. It's why I absolutely never use things like "it's lit" or "fam" unless I'm being really sarcastic and just completely taking the piss. But yeah, like the only way I was actually able to describe my feelings towards the Kingdom Hearts 3 Final Battle trailer was being legit shook, because nothing else quite captured, I suppose, the essence of my emotions. Because I'm not quite sure what my emotions are. All I know is that it stirred up emotions in me, and sort of they're a little bit chaotic. Because I wasn't able to, I mean, really get that much work done this afternoon as I would have perhaps liked to have done, because my brain was just going like face my fears and don't think twice on a loop, and just going, I just want to watch the trailer again, I just want to watch the trailer again and just be flabbergasted by it all. I swear, I really do not know how my brain works sometimes, it's weird. But either way, we are in the dungeon portion of Mont Saint-Michel, And it's a bit weird, so you can break into some of these jail cells, but not others. The only way that you can tell it is if you have a look at your mini-map. The ones that you can break into and break through are the ones that have got holes in them. The ones that don't, you can't actually do anything with. It's a bit weird, because obviously the whole shtick with the Keyblade is that it can open any lock. Well, clearly it can't open any lock, because it struggled to even attempt to get through these piddly little jail cell locks. Which is ridiculous. But there we go. Now, actually, Mont Saint-Michel is not that big, but that's pretty much because it's not a major area. That said, the sort of climb up Mont Saint-Michel and an Sonic Blade, get in there. Yeah, the climb up Mont Saint-Michel and this sort of dungeon area, relatively large arenas for you to partake in exploring, which is quite nice. But the real sort of hub area, I suppose, which is actually just Sora's final stretch, is the opera, which admittedly is quite delightful and also makes excellent use of the way the music sounds. Also, can I just say, I really like Wonder Comic. It's a bit kind of pants, I suppose, as an actual reality shift technique, but it's so easy to pull off and so intuitive that it's just a lot of fun. I mean, I'm slightly surprised I didn't, talk about it before actually getting started. Well, when we started off in Country of the Musketeers, but I got a little bit sidetracked by going, oh, I really like the Three Musketeers, Mickey, Donald, Goofy, etc. So yeah, I got a little bit sidetracked and mentioned the reality shift. Because basically the gist of it is you just put the move the control stick in the direction of the comic that you want to use, and it varies in terms of what they achieve. I think one of them gives you more items, one of them gives you more health, one of them gives you more money, that sort of stuff. But it's nothing particularly terrifying, and I was just sat here going, oh, so close to me, 10 out of 10, and then get a little bit of decassation in there, and we're all good. But yeah, I really do like Wonder Comic. I think it helps that it is one of the simpler reality shifts to get your head around. Because clearly I had so much trouble with the Codebreaker one in the grid. That didn't go very well. And then you've got things like the bubble stuff in Prankster's Paradise, which, while okay, that is an area I need to get into. That area. Yeah, while it is a thing and it is somewhat fun to pull off, it isn't really that exciting. You're just rolling around on a ball. And Slingshot just never really feels like it works entirely properly. Faithline, I think, was a lot more fun in the original 3DS version because it was much more a case of drawing lines between the different points rather than effectively automatically rolling to the various points. Which just always... It does take away a little bit of the magic of that, I suppose. But, oh boy, that is a whole lot of Zolifants. It's really not as terrifying as it may initially look, because Zolifants, while they can cause some decent damage onto you, and they do have some pretty kind of long range, since you can just hop up to them quite easily, they don't really get a whole lot to do to you. So like, I would be much more worried if we had a whole room of Tyrantorexes, because that would be definitely cause for concern. These guys, they're pretty nothing here at this point, actually. I mean, as you can see, that was actually kind of piss easy. But it's all good because we have the slide roll. It's not... I don't think it's that good. You basically just sort of slide as you roll. Yeah, I think it just gives you a little bit more distance with your rolling, which obviously can be helpful. But I don't think it's quite as good as Riku's dodging capabilities, or his blocking capabilities for that matter. But either way, we are very close to the end of Mont Saint-Michel, and there's a Chef Kairu recipe. We'll take that. It means that, you know, they're not going to have any more annoying blighters blooming flinging me up in the air. I can get one myself. And of course, I'm missing 3 chests from around this area. Lovely. And I believe all those ones at the start, I think they're at the opera, so we're okay. And ooh, we've got another trophy. We're doing quite well on those, if you ask me. And you know, whilst I'm doing me whole, let's see where we're at with everything, we can get a whole bunch of, well, not a whole bunch, but we get some more abilities, and they're always nice. Deal on Phoebus is not too bad, if you ask me. Rebecca, which I think, if I recall correctly, Rebecca is the beginning of Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. So, certainly expect a little bit of Valencia and Josh and so on and so forth in the upcoming Dream Eaters. But also, as you might have noticed, we've been spending a lot less time in the Dream Eater area, and I'm quite happy for that. But, oh god, Mickey's dead. Shite! Oh wait, no he's not. Of course he's not. What'd you take us for?
Donald? Goofy? You too, Sora? You came back!
Come on, man! We gotta save the princess!
Aw, fellas. We're not even real musketeers.
Wrong. You are real musketeers, and don't let anybody else tell you you're not.
It doesn't matter what you wear.
Only what kind of heart it is that beats inside of you.
You know what? You're right, pals. When the bunch of us stick together, we can accomplish anything. Pete said he was headed for the Opera House, and that's where we'll find Her Majesty. Come on, musketeers. We've got a princess to rescue.
So yes, we do indeed. We automatically get back here. So eventually we will have to pop back into Mont Saint-Michel because a couple of chests we missed. Yay! One of them we couldn't actually get anyway because you've got to save Mickey first. But it's fine. We'll live. In the meantime, we're just going to head straight on to the opera. It's blooming gorgeous.
Hey, over there!
Oi, those nitwits! The boss is gonna be mad.
Hurry!
Princess! Come on, it's time to put our musketeering to the test.
So yes, we get this rather wonderful outside area of the opera. I mean, you do see sort of the game's portable routes, I suppose, because while this is very impressive, and I think actually it is more impressive than what was on the PSP, because from everything that I do remember, despite, well, Birth by Sleep on the PSP did not play phenomenally smoothly. Like, you had to install the stuff on your PSP, you had to have your you had to have a particular setting set for it to have a chance at loading in reasonable time. Dream Drop Distance on the whole was a lot smoother of a game. It wasn't still perfect, but it was still a lot better than Birth by Sleep. And that's why I think, even though perhaps some of the areas in the game don't have... they're about on par in terms of the level of quality in the visuals, I suppose. Like, this outside area very much reminds me of the courtyard in Castle Dreams in Birth by Sleep, but I would say that the detail and sort of everything else, and the size of some of the areas, I mean, you look at like the post office and stuff, Birth by Sleep could never have dreamed of pulling that off. I think it would have had a hissy fit before it even, like, loaded the thing in. So, I mean, yeah, on the whole, Kingdom Hearts has just always kind of, you know, gotten better and better and better with the visuals. I mean, the really cool thing is that actually the art style that they went with has lasted them as long as it has. Kingdom Hearts 3 is really the first major upgrade to the art style that the Kingdom Hearts franchise has had since it began. And that's amazing, actually. It does make me perhaps maybe a little bit sad that the end of the Xehanort saga isn't going to be completed in the same exact art style as the rest of the franchise. But that is only like a very tiny little niggle. It's not like a major thing at all. It's just me going, yeah, but I would have liked it to have been like everything else, so then it's all like a massive, really awesome unit. But then also, Kingdom Hearts 3 looks absolutely bloody gorgeous. So, I really don't care, actually, that the visual style was updated for current generation hardware. I'm totally fine with that. And can I make me a Tyrantorex yet? Can't make it in that method, which is it's a wee bit frustrating. I can make a bunch of other things. Can't make a Flabber Meow either, so that's not gonna... it's not gonna help me out. Like, come on, guy. Guy, and by guy I mean past me. Yeah, clearly, like, there was some bits where I'm just like, come on, think, know what you're doing. I really didn't know what I was doing. I thought I did. I was trying. 'Cause really, all that is going on in my head right now is I want once more. I don't care how I get it, I want it. And I was just going like, right, do I have the right things to be able to unlock this stuff? The answer right now is no. But I'm close. I believe if it's... I think it might actually be the next world, or during Riku's trip to the country of the Musketeers, where we are going to be able to make that Tyrantorex. And that will make me very happy. And yeah, even though like 11's not a bad number of drop knots, you probably get just a few more, because you can never have too many drop knots. I mean, drop nevers are obviously more useful in the grand scheme of things, in the sense that they just fully restore it once, but they're really expensive and difficult to get a hold of, even at this point in the game, so there's literally no point, just go for the drop knots. Or just take the drops, that's your other option. And take the bonuses that you get from those drops, because really, I don't think in this playthrough I made that good a use out of my drop abilities. I think I could have done a lot better in that side of things. But that's okay, because these things happen. And it is not that important in the grand scheme of things. I'm really not going to lose any sleep over maybe not doing as good as I could with drop bonuses when, you know, I beat everything else that the game had to offer for me. Not 100%ing it, mind, because I am not a crazy person. Because in order to 100% it, I think I needed to beat the game on critical mode, which, while feasible, didn't know what to do for this playthrough. Nah, can't be doing with it, can't be bothered. What else was there that I was just like, not feeling it? Oh yeah, that was it. I think you have to, like, well, unlock all of the abilities, which pretty much means fully leveling up every single Dream Eater, which no. There's also getting like the gold rank or platinum rank or whatever the hell it is on every single Flick Crush Cup, which was also very much a no moment. So there's a few of those more tedious things that you would need to do to 100% Dream Drop Distance that I was just quite stubbornly unwilling to do. But there could be far worse things, and if you get enough enjoyment out of Dream Drop Distance to go for them, then full on props to you, because I honestly was not able to. I think I would have gone a little bit loopy attempting it. And how the hell did I miss that chest? Oh god. I really am starting to go a wee bit blind with things. Like, I knew that my sight was getting worse without my glasses, but I didn't realise it was getting that bad where just like things that should have been perfectly obvious just were not. Oh well, it's time for our boss fight.
The jig is up, Pete!
There's no escape.
Yeah, it's 3 against 1 now.
Look out! Huh?
What? Impossible.
Riku. Riku saved us. He's been by our side. All right. Musketeers, get the princess to safety. I'll handle things here.
Right. Thanks, Sora.
Why, you... How dare you thwart me in the nick of time? This don't add up, I tell you. Hey, over here, boys!
That's right. You'll need help.
And I mean, yes, Sora is quite right, because this is not that challenging of a fight. We begin by having to take down the Beagle Boys. They're a little bit angrier, I suppose, than they were the first time round. But, I mean, we're pulling off a Trinity limit, so sucks to be them! I mean, that didn't actually do as much damage as I kind of hoped it would do. But yeah, I think other than maybe a bit more health, I don't think they really offer that much more of a challenge. The real thing that you need to be going for is dealing with Pete, but you can't actually deal with Pete until you've defeated all of the Beagle Boys. With a very specific thing. So once you've gotten them down to the lowest amount of health that they can be, you basically then need to go in and reality shift them. And if you've been wondering where the trophy for using every single one of the Wonder Comic abilities was, this is where your last two are going to be, because there is the one for firing the Beagle Boys, at Pete. And then there is one which you will use to finish off the entire fight, which is actually really quite fun, and I am totally down with. And I love how that particular Beagle Boy was just sort of sitting over in the distance there, waiting for me to come and kill him. Idiot. But at least he had the decency to, you know, stay down, because he could have just gotten back up. I mean, I know a few instances of boss fights where that's occurred, and it's been incredibly infuriating every single time. But yes, now we take on Pete himself. He works very much the same as the Beagle Boys do, in that he comes in with a sword flurry, and then every now and again he'll decide to poddle off and swing around on the massive sun and try and hit you with stuff. I believe that there is a way to kind of cancel him out of that somehow, but honestly you might as well just run into the wings and wait, because he can't actually hit you there. It's very much like the little thorn barrier that you could go to in the Kingdom Hearts 1 Maleficent battle, where just none of her attacks were able to get through. I always really appreciated that exploit when I first played the game, because I think that was the only way that I did actually end up managing to beat Maleficent Dragon when I was a kid, and just then spamming Genie. Obviously I got a lot better than that when I, you know, obviously re-recorded the game. I didn't play it on Proud Mode, I don't believe, but like, I was so much better at the game, so I didn't need to rely on my hiding cheap tactics. And now I'm just kind of so brazen with my Kingdom Hearts battling skills that I just go in for the slaughter every single time. It does sometimes get me in trouble, but I still do enjoy going for it, and that is Pete down. Time for that reality shift with Wonder Comic. And basically what you've got to do is you've got to wait for the one to appear which has the key on it, which is generally going to be kind of double up to launch him and finish the fight. But yeah, you just got to wait for that to appear on the screen before you can actually act. But there we go, Pete is down, and Sora's side of the Country of the Musketeers is completed. Hell yeah!
In gratitude for being so brave and saving us all, I hereby officially dub the Royal Musketeers. Thank you all.
We did it!
Fellas?
All for one!
And one for all!
All for one, and one for all.
So yes, there's our Keyblade, all for one. And it is delightful, actually. I can't remember whether it's a particularly great Keyblade, but it's definitely nice, and I can definitely live with it. Also, please, can I get my Taranto Rex? Please? Please? Nope, not there yet. Have absolutely nothing that I need. Can't get that either. Makes me grumpy. But still, we only have 10% of the treasures left to get, which I think equates to about maybe 5 of them or so. It's not many, but yes, I just need to make sure that I find them all. And yeah, I can live with that. 2 more magic, 2 less strength. it balances out, but it is a pretty nicely designed Keyblade. Not anything hugely fancy. And I'm not quite sure about the sort of shurikens that sort of appear flying out. I know they're not shurikens, but that's what my brain immediately goes to. Clearly, I have watched far too much Naruto in my life. But yes, I believe actually we couldn't pick up these chests until we actually beat the boss. So that's actually fine by me. Because yes, we get to go out onto the stage, and it is beautiful. I do always love a good stage. I mean, I think well, I mean, I love a good theatre. I mean, this much is obvious. The amount of times that I talked about when I worked at the theatre, and all that, and the amount of theatre stuff that I talk about on a daily basis, it's quite clear that I like theatre. But I also really like theatres in general, but my favourite is the Theatre Royal Nottingham. There's just something really particularly beautiful about the Grand Old Lady. Is just particularly beautiful, and even like all that, I've been to now quite a lot of theatres in London, and Nottingham's Theatre Royal is still one of my favourite theatres, if not my favourite theatre, because it's just so gorgeous inside. It's hilarious. It's the green that does it. It's the green and gold. It just feels very sumptuous and rich and really nice. I think the closest that I've found to that in London was the Theatre Royal Haymarket, because that was also like a really lovely auditorium inside. So yeah, I'm a big fan of those. And I mean, this one is beautiful as well. I mean, the opera is stunning. Really, at some point, I feel like I should visit like a proper opera house, because they're always quite sumptuous and extravagant in terms of their aesthetics. The closest I've probably been to somewhere like that is Victoria Palace in London, which is where Hamilton is on at the present moment in time, because they kitted it all out to try and make it feel they upgraded to make it feel a lot more beautiful, and I would say that they succeeded in the kind of foyer areas, because oh my god, I've never felt so posh in my life. But I don't think that they necessarily did the actual auditorium any favours, because they changed it from a really quite vibrant white, gold and red look to something that is much more, I think, white, gold and sort of a light bluey colour, and it just didn't feel like it had quite as much wow as I perhaps had expected, I suppose. I felt slightly bad for not liking the venue as much as I probably should have done, because so the Theatre Royal Nottingham was designed by the same person who designed the Victoria Palace Theatre in London, Frank Matcham. Although, admittedly, the front of the Theatre Royal Nottingham is a Phipps design, I believe. The original theatre was a Phipps. But Frank Matcham, kind of, when he eventually got his hands on it, made it more his design inside. But, yeah, so I thought I was going to like it more, and then, yeah, I came away feeling a little bit like, oh, this wasn't quite as lovely as I had hoped. It probably didn't help that I had seats right at the back of the stalls that were really expensive. So I was a little bit grumpy at how much it had cost me for not the best seats in the world. Like, in basically all of the other venues that I have been in London, I've been able to pay cheaper for better seats. In some instances, like half the price for a seat about half the stalls further forward, which is crazy. So yeah, was not best pleased when I visited Hamilton. Also didn't help that I probably wasn't quite prepared for Hamilton in a way, I suppose. It was not a show that I came away feeling, oh my god, this is the best thing ever from. But I think that's because rap's not really my thing. And so I didn't respond quite as well to it as I perhaps would have liked. Which is another one of those, it's a bit of a shame, but it happens. And now I am really trying to figure out where the hell everything is. I think all I actually have to do is go all the way down to the bottom of the dungeon to get the chests that I'm after. Chests that I'm after. And also can I just say that I am really cutting it fine with my drop gauge, because I was just like, yes, I can just run all the way to the end of this and then make it back before the drop gauge runs out. I mean, well, physically, technically possible, I think. I thought that the save point was a lot closer than it actually was, so it was a moment of just like sheer madness. But yeah, you've got to climb down to the bottom to get this lovely big old chest, which has Tornado Strike, which I'm never going to use, so it was a little bit of a waste of a trip. But it's fine, because I'm pretty sure that means that we now have all of the treasure chests. Yes, we do, in Country of the Musketeers. So that is Sora's entire trip to this world done and dusted. So now the question becomes, can I make it back to a save point before my drop gauge runs the hell out? And the answer is, not if I keep accidentally ramming my way into enemies. Just unwittingly entering into fights that I don't want to be in. And this is getting really blooming close. But thankfully, there is our save point. Just in the nick of time. We're getting the hell out of Dodge. Saving up, and then it is time to get a good old drop on and launch into Riku's version of the Country of the Musketeers. Let's go. All for one, and one for all, as they say.